Hello everyone, and welcome to your online orientation for English 120. My name is Dr. Iris Jamal Dunkel, and I'm going to be your professor this semester for English 120 online. The best way to reach me is via email at idunkel@napavalley.edu, but I also have an office on campus in the 1100 building, and in the 1000 building, and I'm on the second floor in office 1031A. I'm on campus 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, and I will be posting my office hours the very first week of class. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I love teaching, and I love teaching English 120 online. I've taught composition and literature for about 10 years, and about 8 of those have been spent teaching online. I have an MFA in poetry from New York University and a PhD in American literature from Case Western Reserve University. And in addition to being a teacher, I'm also a poet. I'll post a little bit more information about myself as part of the Introductions Discussion Forum, and I'm looking forward to meeting all of you in that same discussion forum. So what's my role as your online instructor in this class? Online instructors have a different role in the online classroom than in traditional classrooms. We're here as your guide rather than as your lecturer. I'm going to guide you, but you have to log in and participate in order to be successful. I won't be there in class every day to remind you to turn in work and to remind you to come to class. You are responsible for logging in each week, and if you want to be successful, you've got to be able to take the initiative. One thing that's really important in an online classroom is online etiquette. Online courses are based on this premise that students learn best in a community. But sometimes, and the reality is things don't change. In the classroom, the same courtesy and respect that you show for your peers and for your instructor apply also in the online environment. Please use common courtesy and socially acceptable behavior in all of your communications, including email, your discussion posts, and your journal entries, anything you post for this class. So here's some guidelines for etiquette. If you want to create a community, you got to participate, and you get points for doing so. So make sure you show up, be present at least 3 times a week, log into the class, and make sure that when you log in and you post, you're polite, you're respectful, and you're honest. Make sure you avoid shouting. That's when you use all caps when you're typing something. And flaming is when you really lash out at your peers or your teacher via an email message or a post on the site. Just the best practice is just to think before you respond. Make sure you write clearly and you communicate with your classmates and with your instructor. So here's the big question, to learn or not learn online. It's really important that you know what you're getting into when you begin an online course. Online classes are not easier than traditional classes, and they require as much time, if not more time, than face-to-face classes on campus. But they're also a lot more flexible, meaning if you have a job, if you have kids, if you have other responsibilities, you don't have to show up at a certain time every week to be sitting in a seat in the classroom. But in addition, you need to be self-motivated because you aren't going to be required to show up. You have to set aside time to make sure you schedule time for yourself to take this class. You need to have self-discipline. That means you need to make sure that you complete all your tasks each week and manage your time so that you don't forget to do this work. Make sure that you can communicate well and that you are organized as you move through this course. This will really help you be successful. So please plan to participate fully and give this class the amount of time and attention that you need in order to learn the material. There's a couple of policies I need to tell you about in English 120. Needless to say, because this is a writing class, we're going to be doing a lot of writing. And you must abide by Napa Valley College's academic honesty policy if you want to participate in this class. That means that all of the work that you complete for this class must be done specifically for this class. You can't reuse content from any other class. Plagiarism involves passing off someone else's work as your own, either by failing to acknowledge others' words or ideas or by having someone else write part of your paper. This is not allowed, and you will fail the course if you plagiarize. So know the consequences. If an essay or any other writing assignment, including journal posts and discussion posts, if anything in this class is plagiarized or it contains plagiarism, that means you are not citing the sources that you're using, you will receive a failing grade. And if you do this more than once, you will be dropped from the class, or you will receive a failing grade in the class. All right, so in order to get started in this class, you need to know how to get into Blackboard, which is our online environment at Napa Valley College. There's a video embedded in this, and it's also located in our course directly below this link, and it's narrated by Professor Kathy Gillis, the chair of the English department. And she's going to give you information on, if you've never logged into Blackboard before, this shows you how to log in and how to get into our course on the very first day. So just to review, before you log in to our course, you're going to need your student ID number. And this can be found on your registration receipt, or it can be found in WebAdvisor if you log into WebAdvisor. You're going to need, to be successful in this class, you're going to have to use a computer at least 3 times a week. And it needs to have these specifications. You'll also need a good, that means a reliable internet connection, and you'll need decent computer skills so that you can use a computer. You'll also need to be able to find a place where you can use this computer where there aren't any other distractions. A lot of times I tell my students that it's a good idea to turn off some of the distractions that are on your computer as well, especially if you're trying to do some writing. So whatever your social media preferences, it's a good idea to turn it off. I know I have a hard time not checking Facebook when I'm writing an essay, so I have to turn off that functionality when I am writing. So just a word to the wise. So here's a link to that video I was telling you about. Please watch it before you begin working in our class. This will give you a great orientation as to how to get into Blackboard, where to find the link, and I'll talk you through that just very briefly. So the first step is log onto a computer that's reliable, that has an internet connection, and click on the bottom left-hand side of the Napa Valley College website. There's a link to online education. You want to click on that link. Then at the top of that page on the left-hand side, there's a link that says log in to your class here, and you click on log in to Blackboard. When you see this page, you want to log in using your username, which was created using the first 2 letters of your first name, followed by the first 2 letters of your last name, followed by the last 4 digits of your Napa Valley College student ID number. That's your WebAdvisor number. So for example, if your name's John Smith and your ID number is 2341343, your username would be JOSM1343, and the letters would be in all caps. If you don't know your student ID number, check your registration receipt, or just log into WebAdvisor and you'll be able to see it. The default password for all students is student in all capital letters. So once you log into Blackboard, you want to make sure that you edit your personal information by changing your password immediately. Since everyone has the same password, it's a good idea for security purposes to change your own password, so it's your own specific password. Once you do so, this is the login page that you'll see when you get into Blackboard, and you'll see our class will be listed under my courses. It'll say English 120, and it'll have our section number, and you want to click on that link. All right. So once you have clicked on that link, you are in our class. And you want to use the buttons on the left-hand side of the page in our class to navigate through the Blackboard website. On the top, you'll see first a link to getting started in English 120, and I'll go into more detail about that in a second, and that is the first thing you should do. But before you do so, I'd like you to take a look at all the buttons on the left-hand side. The first one is lessons, and this will take you to our weekly assignment folders. Each week, I'll be posting a weekly readings, our lecture, and the assignments for that week, and those will be listed under lessons. There are also buttons for our conversations, which is where we have our discussions about the topics of the week. You'll be participating in at least one conversation per week. That's a discussion board. There's also a link to My Reflections, which is a link to your journal, which you'll also be writing in each week. A link to Comp Class, which is an online research component we'll be using in this class, and a link to Course Basics. This is where you can find our class syllabus and the textbook information that you're going to need for this class, and a link to Instructor Details, which tells you all about how to reach me. You must check your email and the course announcements regularly if you want to be successful in this class. I will be contacting you at least once a week whenever there is new content available, and it is very important that when you receive that email, you click on the link and go into the site and check out the information that's due that week, so that if you have any questions, you can contact me. All right, so to begin, you're going to want to click on Getting Started in English 120. And this is going to give you a full orientation about how to work in our classroom environment. But before you do so, I just want to tell you how to get help if you need it. If you have questions or need additional help, please check the FAQs and the videos that are on the online education page. That's that page that you first went to when you clicked on online education. There's a link there's also a link to it within the course under Student Services. Also, you want to check out the Q&A discussion board in Blackboard to see if your questions have already been addressed. Or you can post your questions there, and a Blackboard representative will get back to you. Also, I am also available as a resource. You can email me, that's the fastest way to reach me, but be specific about your questions, and remember that I'm an English professor. That means you probably want to use complete sentences and punctuation when you email me. All right, well, welcome to English 120. The first step in getting orientated is to review that page I told you about, Getting Started in English 120. This will give you information on how to use the lessons section of our site, how to use our conversations, how to use My Reflections, which is your journal. It has a link to review Course Basics, which is where I posted our syllabus, and there's information on which textbooks you need to buy for our class. There's a link to review instructor information. That's how to get a hold of me, what my office hours are, what my phone number is, what my email address is, and where I'm located on Napa Valley campus. And then finally, there's information about all of our textbooks and how to purchase them. The easiest way to get our textbooks is to go to the campus bookstore and purchase our books. You need to make sure that you have the specific editions that I've asked you to purchase, and you also need to make sure that you are able to write in your books. As part of this class, we will be doing something called active reading, which will require you to use a pen or pencil and write in your books. So it's probably a good idea not to rent the textbooks, if at all possible. But if you are financially strapped, please reach out to me and we can figure out a plan. All right, here's the books you'll need to purchase. We will be using The Conscious Reader, The Bedford Researcher, and the Bedford Researcher is bundled with something called Comp Class, which is our online research component. Please make sure you purchase all of these books. We'll also be reading a book called The Valley of the Moon by Jack London. You'll need to purchase this book as well. It's available at the campus bookstore. You can also get this book for free via Kindle. If you have an iPhone, you can download the Kindle app and get a free version of The Valley of the Moon. But you need to make sure if you do so that you have a way to take notes on the pages that you'll be reading. Finally, you want to make sure you review course basics. Our syllabus is located under course basics. Before our class begins, please review this important document. Your syllabus tells you exactly how to be successful in this class. You'll also see an overview of our class schedule by week found in this area of the site. And there are instructions on how to purchase access to Comp Class, which you'll need to do in the first week of our class. All right, so finally, it may not seem like it, but the semester goes by really quickly. So make sure you're ready to learn on day one. If you do not show up in your online class during the first week, that is counted as an absence and you will be dropped from the class. You must complete all of your first week's activities by the end of the week if you want to stay enrolled in this class. We have a full wait list, so please make sure you complete all of the information that's required of you the first week of class. All right, good luck you guys in your online learning adventure. I really look forward to working with you. Please contact me if you have any questions.